no kids for my Hussein or my Ferrari. Don't need no kids for my Hussein or my Bugatti. Push the button.
What's good, Wayne gang? It's your boy Wayne, and I'm back with some more heat. Now, I told y'all that I had some surprise coming, and I know a lot of people like when we talk sports. So I brought in a surprise guest, and him and my pops are about to talk about sports. I'm going to intervene, but prior to me recording this, I did listen to them, and they are funny. So I want to enjoy this ride. Anyways, I got my pops, as y'all know. Let me go ahead and bring him on here. Pops, what's up?
What's going on, son? How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good. Also, guys, do not forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell in the top right-hand corner if you're on a computer. If you're on your phone, it's right next to the subscribe button, which means you subscribe and you hit the bell. Same time. Easy. Anyways, I got my dude, B, on the line. Let me bring him in here. What's good, B?
What's going on with you?
Not much, man. I seen your comment. I had to get you in on the sports talk. He's a Patriots fan. I told y'all in the last video that I did not want to talk to him originally because of the way his Patriots slaughtered my Browns. But I did bring him in here to give y'all some content. Now, y'all can go ahead and go at it because I heard y'all talking about it, and B is the Mac Joe. He think he's good, but he needs more years of consistency before he can respect 100% that he is on the same spectrum as Tom Brady, from my understanding.
Listen, ain't nobody gonna be on the same spectrum as the GOAT.
No, that can't happen. There's nobody. I don't think there's gonna be a quarterback for a long time that gets there.
Let's just go ahead and get that out the way. Ain't nobody going to touch. No, I ain't gonna say nobody. It's gonna take him at least 10, 15 years and 6 rings to touch the GOAT. For real.
You know what's crazy though is Belichick got some of the most players that we've ever gotten in a free agency, draft picks. I mean, we put a lot of money and a lot of talent into this team this year. And personally, I think Belichick is here to prove something because of the way we went last year. You know, it was kind of like a short notice in a way. COVID hit. We lost a lot of defensive players. Every team took a hit, you know, but we just wasn't the same team. Cam Newton just isn't a quarterback for the New England Patriots, in my personal opinion.
No, he was set up. He was set up to fail. Because if you notice last year, the play calling that they was calling with Cam in there, they was running like the Navy offense. It was like, Cam, I dare you to throw it. You just run the ball. Anytime y'all got inside the red zone.
Have you been watching any of the videos with in the press conference when I heard you say something about how he was like, you ain't seen our passing game yet? You know, it's funny as he was wearing, I think it was an Army or a Navy mask.
Navy? He was wearing a Navy mask.
And you know what they do? It's all ground and pound. That's what was pretty funny is we play like 4 different running backs, man. And my dad's a big Bills fan, okay? Big Bills fan. And this game kind of upset the both of us because we was wanting a different experience. And the next thing you know, we find out about the win. And I'm like, man, this isn't gonna. I mean, honestly, hats off though to Josh Allen, man. I mean, honestly, he threw for over 100 some yards. He did an amazing job with the win. I'll be honest with you. He's a good quarterback, man. I mean, people better watch out. The Buffalo, they always got good people. You know, and then to talk about, you know, I hear everybody talking about Baker. You got Baker fans, then you don't have Baker fans. Baker is a quarterback that is good, but he's not. You said what?
Y'all want it? Y'all want it. I'm asking you right now. I sign him over to you right now. I make myself honorary GM, and you can have that bastard.
You know what's crazy is Baker is the type of player I feel. I played quarterback for a long time, and you got 2 different types of quarterbacks, okay? You got Tom Brady, And then you got Mac Jones, you got people like Peyton Manning. You get these quarterbacks, you know what I mean? And a lot of, like, for instance, you got Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson is a quarterback that he's out there making his own decision. No matter what the play is, he's changing it every time. Regardless, he's going to change the play. And then you got people like Baker Mayfield. He's out here thinking he has this big head, okay? That's the problem with Baker. He has a big head about he thinks he's the man because he came into Cleveland, broke records, took him to the playoffs, and he thinks he has the upper hand on, okay, they're not going to cut me. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, you know? And that's where the conflict, I think, comes into play. You know, not everybody knows what goes on in the locker room. Baker Mayfield, you know, losing Odell's dad wasn't wrong for what he did. It would have been a little bit better if Odell would have spoke up more than his dad, I guess they to say.
Well, hold on, time out.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And the reason why I have to differ with you on this is because if Odell, think about it, the blowback that he's getting because his dad did it, what do you think the blowback would have been if he did it?
You're right, but you know,
feel me? Because it was a no-win situation for Odell. He already came in with the stigma from every talking head that he was a problem child, he's a prima donna, and not once did you hear anything about him do anything in Cleveland. Not even say nothing about Baker not getting the ball. He was like towing the company line because he knew he already had that stuff coming out of New York. If it happened again now in Cleveland, you know, he can get blackballed. He can get Kaepernick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I
his
get
dad
it.
doing it.
No, I get it. I get that 100%.
And the problem that I have is Baker's wife is doing the exact same thing that Odell's dad's doing, and he's not being held accountable.
What about what's his face? Didn't Kareem Hunt or somebody, his dad or somebody say
Yeah,
something?
Kareem Hunt.
I haven't heard nothing else about that.
You ain't going to, because Kareem Hunt speaks for itself.
That locker room is the
Kareem Hunt has a background though. Is he has to realize he's a great player, but just because, like what you know, your pops was saying, it's a quick blackball in the NFL, and you could get it real quick, man. I mean, the Browns.
What I'm saying here is when Kareem Hunt's dad had came out, he had came out against Baker on a position that Kareem Hunt isn't in, right? So his dad was just calling football as it is, football. He wasn't, well, he's not getting the ball to my son, he's not throwing. He was saying, as far as the whole team is concerned, Baker is not giving the ball to the people that he needs to. Kareem a running back, so he don't really got to catch much outside of screens.
Oh, he getting the ball anyway because he's a check down Charlie. So he's like his best, you know what I mean?
I was just about to say that, like, yeah, that screen's gonna be there every time.
Yeah.
It's like Dak Prescott with Zeke at Dallas. You know, Dak Prescott, man, he's a great quarterback as well. But let me say this: ever since his injury, where they let him sit out 2-3 games, he came back, man, and he's not the same. I got a lot of family members that's Dallas fans, and Dak ain't the same either. Dak's the same way. He likes to just hit the running backs all day on the screen routes. And, you know, Baker, once again, he got what it takes, but I don't think he's going to have to shut his mouth and he's going to have to learn, you know?
No.
And
he lost the locker room, bro. He right now, he's a paper tiger. When you play football, you know this. If you don't believe in your quarterback and that quarterback ain't who he say he is, you can't hide it from the locker room. You can probably, you know, put on his face for the fans and the public. But in that locker room, after that Odell shit, they was like, nah, hold on. You just got rid of an icon and a #1 receiver that can help us win the Super Bowl. For this,
do you think you guys will let him go?
Huh?
Do you think you guys will let him go?
No, let me tell you. I was telling Wayne this. Remember that game we had against Pittsburgh, right?
He should have been out.
No, Landry is a pro's pro. He was, up until he got with Baker, he was leading the league in reception and yards. He was that man. as a perception. He wasn't no. So I think that Odell told Landry before that Pittsburgh game, bruh, if they don't throw me the ball, the trade deadline is coming up. I'm gonna have to get up out of here, dog. I can't die, with this quarterback. He's icing me out. He looking dead at me and he'll throw a check down. You know what I mean? So I think it was in Landry's head because if you remember that game, they threw him the ball once in the first quarter and then didn't throw it again to him until 2 hours later in the fourth quarter when he hung him up to dry between the safety and the cornerback. Landry was like, man, my dude about to leave. It's no way. We all know as athletes, if you get a chance to play with your family, whether it be a brother, a cousin, or your best friend, man, that's an ideal situation for you on the field because you know that you got somebody that you're going to war with that is going to be down with you. That's how Odell Landry was. So him knowing that his boy was about to get his way out, he was like.
So what's crazy is a lot of people claim that Cleveland went to the playoffs because Odell got hurt.
Nah.
And they claim that there was a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of Browns fans, my uncle, my cousins, and they say, it was too many receivers, too many people for Baker to look for. You had, what was it? One of y'all's tight ends wanted to leave last year too, and it was because of the ball.
Njoku wanted to leave. Now, see, with last year, when Odell went down, remember how you said Baker got the big head? Played right into his narrative. Now it's my team. Odell's not here. You see what I'm saying? See, all that, he has to look for Odell. You tell me what starting quarterback or star quarterback is not going to look for their number one receiver. You got Adams in Green Bay getting 18 targets a game, and Odell's getting 2. But see, when he left, it hurt our offense because now no one was scared of us going over top. They played safety down instead of safety up because they could check us on the outside and weren't worried about nothing over the top. So it kind of stunted our run game too because now we see an 8 and 9-man box where when Odell was there, they had to play a safety over top along with that corner that was going to, check you. So now you're worrying about what Odell doing, and we can sneak these runs in and out. But with him gone, they ain't scared about nobody on the outside.
See, that's why I feel like New England, when we had that year, we went undefeated. Brady and all them, we had Moss, we had all these great players. I think once again, he was looking for Moss a lot in that Super Bowl. That was first off. Second off, I think, you do get distractions on the field. And I will say that the first thing that Randy Moss said, and this isn't first thing he said after that, we lost that Super Bowl was he ain't give me the ball. He ain't throw me the ball. And that's, you get receivers that put a name on themselves. And that's where Odell, and I think that's why his dad did it and he didn't do it. Like you said, the black ball, he didn't want to get that reputation because he already had that reputation. I think he's still a great receiver, but where he went though, their main receiver just got hurt. But I still think when he comes back, it's basically another overload though. Like it's a lot of receivers. I mean, are they going to hit him? They will hit him. But let's be honest, he is getting a little older.
Bro, he's only 27 years old. He's only
for a receiver
27 and 28. And see, and people fail to realize Odell just got there. They just lost their number 2 receiver. So each receiver has skills and ability that they bring to the table. They have yet to tap into what Odell did. You see what I'm saying? If he was a disruption, that's one thing you ain't hear nothing from the other players is that he's a disruption in the locker room. You know what I mean? So
let me ask y'all this. So let me ask you this, Dab. Do you think that Odell getting injured as much as he is going to end up affecting his prime and what he's going to be capable of for what's to come? Because at this point, he's constantly getting injured.
No. Because what's going to happen is Odell's in a place where he want to be now. You understand? So in the offseason, he's going to do what he needs to do to get his body in shape. He came from Cleveland a little bit damaged because he was playing hurt. Just like Baker was playing hurt, Odell was playing hurt. So he went to another team already coming off an ACL injury, a surgery that he had, that he could have, sat out for 3 or 4 more games before he came back. You see what I'm saying? So now, in the offseason, him being in LA, where he want to be, where he got the limelight, he got LeBron, they got the movie stars, he got people that are icons like him. He's just another person in LA. You know what I mean? But in Cleveland, he's that icon. So any movement he makes is going to be under the radar. In LA, he amongst people that, on that same pay status that he is, so he felt comfortable moving in that circle. You see what I'm saying? It was just him and Landry in Cleveland. So do you
think that when they get their star wide receiver back and OBJ is not getting the touches that he wants to have or whatever the case may be, do you think that will end up? I know B has said something about it, that once that wide receiver comes back, it's overloading on wide receivers, which I would partially agree with that, as far as trying to find a target to go to when you got your Cooper Kupp and then you got your OBJ and then you got, your other star receiver and things like that. So he's not going to get as many touches. Do you think that will impact his gameplay? No,
because everybody is still buying into this narrative that he is complaining about his touches. You understand? If he didn't make a big scene in Cleveland, he was only getting the ball thrown to him one time. He's in an area where he wants to live. One, he can do commercials. You're gonna see him get endorsements. It's gonna be so much else that's going on, with that him getting the targets, he already know going into it. Cooper Kupp is the man. He's leading the league in receptions. All right, he already know that. It was just so unfortunate that the second receiver went down. See, he's going to work himself back into. It's nobody out there that really can guard him one-on-one once he get involved mentally into the game. That catch that he made in New York was because he was in a special place at that time. You know what I mean? You can't duplicate that catch unless you are in the game, feeling the game, and part of the game. That's how you make spectacular plays like that. You know what I mean? And Cleveland,
he let his dad though make the video about his catches though.
His dad didn't make that. His dad, somebody else made it. His dad reposted it.
Oh, he reposted. Okay.
Yeah, that video was up a week before his dad reposted it. See, that's when they put this stuff out there, they put out stuff to fit their narrative. They don't put out the truth. Because if the truth was out, people would look at it differently. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said I had no problem with it, because if they do that to my boys, I tell you right now, I respect what his dad did. Reason why I said that, because when my son's high school coach did that to him on Friday night, I was in the coach's office Saturday morning. You understand? When you raise somebody to be somebody, you just don't let them get taken advantage of just because somebody else has an ulterior motive. And that's why I say Baker is a paper tiger, because in my lifetime, I have never seen a quarterback who has a #1 receiver that's talented not be able to work it out some way, shape, or form.
But see, let me ask you this: Landry is your #1 receiver, though.
No, he's not. He's a possession receiver. He's a slot receiver. He's like,
so before Odell, was Landry the man though? He was the man.
He was the man as far as the leader. He was the one that he was the glue that held everything together. Odell Beckham was the game changer. You understand? Landry was that perception receiver. He was the one that can get you 10, 15 yards, maybe break one every now and then.
Throw a 60-yard touchdown.
Yeah, but Odell was that one that would electrify the offense and be like, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Now let me ask y'all this. do y'all think that the Rams quarterback, because I know we started out talking about quarterbacks, do y'all think that the Rams quarterback can make that work? Because it seems to be that he's struggling right now as far as being able to complete those passes. Well, I'm not saying I'm taking Odell off the table. I'm saying because they have a fairly new, quarterback. They got like a guy that they're still trying to work into it. So do you think that Odell's presence is going to essentially make him look like a Baker?
No.
After he's been looking so good.
I mean, he hasn't been so good, like you just said, though, because he's a quarterback that's adapting. He just got there in a way himself. Yeah. A quarterback has to do a leadership. Like I was saying once again, like he said, if you show that leadership in the locker room, like Brady, I've been watching for the first time. I just started watching it, but the man in the arena, okay, the way that Brady always got player to game, or you know what I mean, whatever Brady ever got. At the end of the day, like Brady said on the show, it was always a team game. No matter how you look at it, he had this motivation of keeping everybody on the same team play. And since he had that motivation, that energy, it keeps the game and everybody on the same level. With Baker Mayfield and, all these other younger quarterbacks that are out here trying to, make their name as big as like a Brady, they're trying to reach for the sky too fast. They're trying to go too fast. It's all about play the game, man, the way the game's supposed to be. Make it a team sport, get everybody involved. And if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to get the Baker Mayfield. And that's why, like I was saying before, like earlier, I don't think Mac Jones will be ever in that situation like Baker, because Belichick ain't going to have it. You see what I'm saying? Belichick didn't even let him talk to Peyton Manning in a conference. I mean, he told him no before the game, and it's all about it's control. And the thing is y'all's coach, he has, don't get me wrong, he has a quarterback that he knows, in my opinion, I think can do the job just as good as Baker, in my opinion. Case, I mean, he did. I'm pretty sure, didn't he take him to the playoffs?
He took him to the NFC Championship game.
I mean,
the problem is they don't want him in there, because if they put him in there and he goes on a run, it makes Baker look insignificant. You see what I'm saying? That's why Baker is trying to.
Do you want to win? Or do you want to just worry about somebody's looks?
That's the problem that I have with Baker. You see what I'm saying? Because he knows he's on thin ice. One, because the locker room is divided. I don't care what nobody say, the locker room is divided. Once you realize somebody is not who they say they are, you don't believe in them like you used to. And that's what the problem is. And right now, I think he's holding Cleveland hostage for what you said. He got the big head. They got all these commercials with Cleveland Stadium. Cleveland ain't had a quarterback that gets to the playoffs in since 1999 or so. It's like they scared to say he's not good enough. He's just average. To me, he's just average quarterback.
They played Baker in the Pittsburgh game instead of letting him, because he was still hurt. That's the game that he came back, right? If I'm right. Didn't he come back in the Pittsburgh game? I think if Keenum would have stayed playing and say he would have beaten Pittsburgh, it would have set the bar to where he would have probably took the starting position for a little while. And I think they didn't want it to happen because, like you said, Baker is right now, sad to say, he's the face of Cleveland, like how LeBron was. Baker Mayfield is, he's on the commercials, he's doing all these things. But at the end of the day, this is where an organization, this is where the owners, the coaches, and the staff got to get together and say, do we want to win games or do we want to just worry about a person? Keenum, I'm sorry. I think, honestly, if I look back at the game, I think he hit Odell a couple times. Yeah. And I mean, it's like you said earlier, it's a team game. I played quarterback for, age, 6 to about 17. I played at Northland and with Malcolm and them. I mean, it's all about, in my personal opinion, you got to keep everybody on the same page, man. It's a level of game. As a quarterback, you're almost like a coach. You're like an interim coach in a way. And if you
So-
ain't got that energy, it sucks. I mean, your team is not going to be good.
So let me ask you a question, being a quarterback. If you had a talent like Odell, do you think it would be a problem to find chemistry with him?
It shouldn't be. The reason being I say that is I feel like for instance, I just watched the man in the arena, okay? Moss got released from the Raiders. We picked him up. Belichick said that, or Tom Brady said Belichick asked him, like, do you want Randy Moss? And he said, yes, I do. And the key is when you take that type of commitment, and whenever you're saying, okay, I want to take in this star receiver, Odell, he's a star receiver.
Right.
Even though he had a bad reputation, he's a star receiver. You got to take in consideration he's got the talent. Landry, like you said, he's a great receiver. He's going to get open. But, you know, Baker and Odell, I felt like didn't want to give him his shine. He really didn't want to give him his shine. I think Baker wanted him out of there, if you want my personal opinion. I really do. And I think that's why he wasn't doing what he was doing. I think Baker, like you said, the big head wants to say, oh, I'm in control, like how he did last year when, OBJ got hurt, when he got hurt. You know what I mean? It's all about, that's the key is coaching, though. Y'all got a coach that just became a head coach. That's the difference between a Belichick and who you guys got.
Right.
And the thing is the coach has to take control of that situation to where, okay, Baker, no more commercials. You got to focus on the game. We need you focused on the players. We need you focused on the team. You see what I'm saying? That's where, I'll be honest with you, I never seen Tom Brady in one commercial until he went to Tampa. I mean, Tom Brady been in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
And all his commercials was done in Canada. I mean, Brady, that's the difference between coaching. And that's where I think Cleveland struggles because they've been trying to find this quarterback for years, you know, and it's like an abusive relationship in a way. As fans, as an organization, they finally get a quarterback that takes them to the playoffs, you know. You finally get that one guy, and it's hard for you to say, man, this guy ain't it. You know, he's really not it, you know. And it's like we believed in him. He showed that he had it, but like it did a complete 360. And now the team is just, like you said, divided. Nobody really, there's probably no communication. Everybody probably put their headphones on and do their job, and you know, they're there for a check.
I'm gonna tell you how I know, and when I point it out, you're gonna be like, wow, I didn't think about it. That Pittsburgh Cleveland game, right? Baker got hit into the bench on Cleveland's side, ran out of bounds. He slid into the bench. Miles Garrett lifted up his legs. Y'all ain't see that? He lifted up his legs and let him hit the bench. Baker gets up. Now, all this time, he's talking about, you know, his shoulder be popping out of socket when he playing in the game. He runs to the sideline and start throwing his arm up. I play with a dislocated shoulder. If you're doing any jerking motion, it's highly likely that your shoulder gonna come out just by going like this. Now, while he was doing this, the rest of the team was walking back to the sideline. Odell walked right by. Nobody congratulated him.
I think the team wants Keenum. I think they see him at practice and they know what he's capable of.
The fans want Keenum.
The thing, though, is once again, like I heard you guys talking about Urban Meyer and Fields. Okay. I feel like with him being in Minnesota as the coach, defensive coach or whatever, I think it was defensive coach.
Stefanski?
Stefanski, yeah. I want to say it was
he was the offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator. Okay, so the key is I think they don't want it to look like a favoritism, just throwing him in there and taking his spot. If I'm thinking about it correctly as a coach, in the way you're going to get it as a backlash if it don't work out.
But who cares about the backlash if you win in games?
But think about it like this. They letting Baker play himself out of Cleveland. Because at this point, there's two sides to this. There's two sides to this Baker thing. Either you believe in
how he used Cam Newton.
Essentially.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? because once he fall out of favor with the fans, they don't care what Cleveland do. They can trade him, they can get rid of him. But if the fans are still believing in him and they're not coming to the stadium, because it's hard to go to Cleveland in December when it's cold as hell up in that stadium to watch some of the football that we got put on that field. You see what I'm saying? So some of the fans is like, nah, Baker, he's the one. And then the other
that's how
like,
y'all's tickets went up. That's how the company made some money these past couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's the key. They've been building and making money off his name. A lot of money. And
now, let me ask you a question, B, because in a previous segment, me and my dad had talked about us going for Deshaun Watson. Even given his impending indictments or cases or whatever is going on legally with that, do you think that if we went for Deshaun, that he would be able to play by NFL's finagling? Do you think they'll try to ice him out and then suspend him, saying that he has these indictments, or do you think they'll let him come to Cleveland and play? And then B, do you think that he would be a good fit in our offense? I mean, you call football for what it is. You like football, you like the sport, you watch it. So do you think that Deshaun Watson would be a good fit in our organization and send Baker back to Texas where he belongs, and then the Texans can deal with that? Because, I mean, they were, from what was said, they were the first team that was actually eliminated from the playoffs. And as my dad said, we all know that Jacksonville and the Lions and these people should not. But the Texans were the first people to actually have somebody put a name on it. You're eliminated. You ain't coming back. So
yeah, I just seen that. I was talking to my dad about that the other day on how they had an E next to their name. And I'm like, there's so many other teams with either worse records or the same record. I was confused about that as well the other day. I was looking at that. But I think personally, Deshaun Watson, if they was going to make it to where he couldn't go anywhere, the NFL wise, it would have already happened because of what's going on. So what happened is he asked for the trade. The team already, in my personal opinion, they already knew about what was going on. They already knew about it. They've been covering it up. These girls probably done went to the team a year ago. You know what I mean? This has been going on.
Objection. Objection. I think they created the story because remember, he said he wasn't going to play for Houston no more. So if you got a superstar quarterback, what makes you think that the organization won't put this story out to damage their goods so they wouldn't be able to, he wouldn't be able to go where he wanted to go because he got a no trade clause in his contract. He can only go where he wants to go. They can't just trade him, trade him off. And then on the flip side of that, these thirsty ass women.
Oh yeah, trust me.
No, if you got money, you don't have to say nothing. They are already plotting to try to get next to you. So if the possibility was he did something along that line, I'm just going.
So I used to clean air duct Stanley steamer, okay? And me and my cousin was partners. We went into a job where he was an ex-NFL player, okay? And he was like, we all laughed at it, all three of us. We was laughing at the situation because the thing is, you get your massages, you do what you do, but man, he got a list. You know what I mean? Like, look, man, you could have made the circle a little bit more tighter. People don't care what you do. Look at Robert Kraft. Look at our owner. I mean, that's just, it's stupid. It really is. So you get all this money, bring them to your room. I mean, there's just things you just don't do, and you got to realize you're getting paid millions, multiple millions of dollars to play the game you love, and these companies, they're paying you. And you're right. Do I think they released this to basically in a form of a way stop him from being able to go to any team? Yes, they did do that. They did, and out of all due respect, that there was a lot of players that was leaving that team. If I'm right, there was a lot of players leaving.
A lot of players. He got rid of his best receiver
They got rid of
You see
D
what I'm
Hop.
saying? They got rid of him.
Yeah,
and,
they got rid of him
D-Hop.
for like a 6th round draft.
And they
pick.
sent him with
a
Kyler.
Snickers bar. They got rid of him for a Snickers bar.
Yeah,
And then left him and wanted him to carry the team. And then when he was like, and then they didn't talk to him about bringing in a coach. They just brought in a coach, and this is what I heard. Was it Peyton Manning or somebody else said, if you're a superstar quarterback, it's only respectful that the ownership talk to you when they're talking about bringing in a coach if they're building a team around you. You see what I'm saying? They said nothing to him about bringing in this coach. And he was like, you know what? Y'all done showed me my value on this team. I either want to get traded or I'm not going to play. As soon as he made that statement, all this stuff came out about these women. You see what I'm saying? I'm just one of those people that I like to connect the dots. I just don't follow the story just because it sounds like it's good. I watch how things play out and the way it all
That's how
dropped.
it was with Aaron Hernandez. Everybody jumped the gun on him, and come to find out the man was charged with I dig deep in that story because I'm a big Patriots fan, but then again, I'm a big football fan. And whenever I heard the judge tell that man, just because you're a football player, I'm gonna prove a point with you, that was disrespectful, is all I'm gonna say about that case. But it's now Deshaun Watson, back to it. Will he fit great in Cleveland? I think you guys got your quarterback that can do decent, and I think he's there. I think the coach knows he's there, and I think the team knows he's there. I think the players know. I think everybody know that Keenum can make the playoffs as a quarterback at Cleveland.
Yeah, we're talking about a quarterback that can take us to the Super Bowl. Watson is on another level.
My concern is his feet. Is he going to try to run too much? Because y'all got to realize, y'all's a team that your running backs want they love too. Y'all got ground and pound like crazy. Kareem Hunt and your backfield can do it. Like what we just did to Buffalo. Y'all could do that. Y'all can play that game. And you can switch out running backs. But the key is, it's not right now. It's like you said, they're playing out the game. They're letting Baker they're letting him hurt himself. And they're trying to make it to where they have a reason to let him go and say, hey, this is why we're going to let you go. It's a storyline behind it, is what it is. Now, Deshaun Watson, I just don't know if the Texans, the case, I don't even hear nothing about it. I don't know.
New. So think about it. If we send Baker to Houston, where he goes back to the state where he is king against, you see at the quotes.
Do you have to trade him though? Because isn't this his last year? His contract's up.
No, we picked up his 5th-year contract.
Okay.
So we could, literally, and me personally, I think this is what Andrew Berry's doing. He's trying to fill out what's going on with Watson. If you send them there, why wouldn't Houston jump on it? Because now they can put butts in the seats. You know what I mean? He can do his commercials and stuff there. We get a player that'll help us get to the Super Bowl because our window is small. You understand?
The game that Carolina just played with Cam, they thought bringing him back would help sell some games, and it backfired on them. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It at least replaced the hype. It'll replace the hype.
Because if we go from Baker to a Minshew, that's a failure. You see what I'm saying? It's got to be somebody. There's nobody in the draft right now that's moving the needle.
But can I say Brady was that Minshew? Everybody didn't think that Brady was going to be that guy on that team. Everybody didn't think that. And the key is if they gave that opportunity to Keenum, like they should have gotten when Baker was hurt, he may have shocked everybody, and it may have been the Keenum. You know what I mean? It may have been his show. And that's the thing is nobody gave him. They're not giving him the opportunity because, like you said, they're still trying to sell tickets. They're still trying to sell the game. They're still trying to make their money till at least this year's over. And I understand it. But once again, you done proved the point. You can make the playoffs. Okay. You got the talent. You got people. Vegas odds before the season started, they had the Browns at least making the Super Bowl. And it's like on paper, you got some of the best team that, I mean, you're up there almost defensively and offensively with Tampa. I mean, you are up there. And the thing is
except for one position.
Quarterback.
I'll let you name that position.
But that's why I said at the beginning of this segment, I said that Mac Jones will end up on the same spectrum as Brady. Both of y'all disagree with me. However, Mac Jones and what I'm seeing out of him, he's a learner of the game. For one, he has the same coach.
But it's not about learning, though.
Brady
It's not
beat
all
Brady.
about learning.
But
the thing is, here's the thing, because it also ultimately boils down to being subjective, right? Because, you know, you have those, switch to NBA for a second, those LeBron versus Jordan. Some people feel like LeBron can't stack up to Jordan. I feel like LeBron maybe, if not better than Jordan, only for the simple fact of subjective things, right? Because Jordan ran his 1 and 2, right? But then you got LeBron that can run the 1 through 5, and he can run it effectively. So it's a subjective view on where you see, you know, these quarterbacks and where they stack up. I think the fact that Tom Brady has now left and he has basically paved the way for what Mac Jones can become. As long as Mac Jones
Tom Brady left and made a point. He proved a big point.
He did.
Tom Brady,
He left and he went straight to the Super Bowl, right? And that's what I'm almost going to expect out of somebody like Mac Jones. See, Cam Newton was already tarnished when he went to Patriots. He already had it set in his head that nobody can tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, and this coach means nothing to me, right? And that's why they had a terrible season.
It might take 10 years for Mac to be able to get there, though.
And we may be, and I may be jumping the gun, and I'm not putting a time limit on it. I'm just saying, watch out for the kid, right? Because he is as similar to Mac Jones. I mean, to Tom Brady.
As far as skill,
anybody I've said.
But the one thing that we gotta put into the equation, the one reason that the Patriots had those teams that lasted as long as they did is because Tom Brady never took the bag.
Right.
You understand? So what happened?
Hold on, son. Mac Jones won't either.
So what happened was when Brady didn't take the bag, other people around the league wanted to go to the Patriots and play because they knew they had a shot at getting to the Super Bowl. See, if this kid come in and do the same thing, then the star players will gravitate because one, you got Belichick. A lot of people can't play with Belichick. He has a whole different system and a whole different program that he goes through. You see how he got right?
He's giving it to his son right now. If you look at that,
you see what I'm saying?
So that's why
he got the skill. I give him that. He got the skill because he's blowing these rookie quarterbacks out the water right now.
Right, and I think that is why Mac Jones will inevitably follow in the footsteps of Tom Brady because I think that Belichick has his way of convincing these young quarterbacks to not focus so much on the money. We'll get that, but what we need to focus on is your skill, your talent, and winning, right? And I think that Mac Jones is the perfect person in that system to be able to run it and run it effectively. I mean, I'm not saying that he's the top quarterback right now. I'm not saying that I have a top quarterback because all of these quarterbacks in the leagues are different, right? You got your Patrick Mahomes that can do some crazy things. You got your Aaron Rodgers, who has been in the league probably as long as I've been alive, and he can still turn a losing game in 30 seconds into a winning game. He's
a Hail Mary King right there. I mean, you got called good receivers too, though.
But see, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are different because Aaron Rodgers, effectively, in my opinion, and this is my personal opinion to everybody watching, he needs his receivers to be great. Tom Brady needs Belichick, or needed. Let me correct myself. Needed Belichick to be great because now Tom Brady is a Belichick of his own, right? He proved that when he left and went to Tampa Bay, took one tight end and won the Super Bowl, right? Tampa Bay was not on anybody's radar prior to Tom Brady going there, and somehow they win the Super Bowl.
Well, they was good.
They were good, but they weren't great. Nobody's seeing them as, I mean, if you think about it, you were thinking.
They didn't see them as great, but they went from their defense having to face 35 interceptions the year before to not being on the field that much. You know, that's a big a big difference.
But that's a Tom Brady effect, right? And the student is effectively from the beginning only as good as their teacher, right? As much as you are able to learn and as much as you're able to soak in and become a sponge to what you need to know to be great at your passion or perfecting your craft and things like that, that is what made, you know, Tom Brady, right? So if you put him and Aaron Rodgers, it's different because Tom Brady can take one person and make them look like the superstar of the century, right? Aaron Rodgers needs his people in the right place at the right time, or he's just gonna throw it up and y'all can figure it out. And somebody will grab it, right? And then you got your Patrick Mahomes that may not have the best line from what I've seen. I don't care what paper says. From what my two eyes have seen, he doesn't have the best line, but he will still make something happen. Now, do I think that Patrick Mahomes fell off a little bit since he got that contract? I do, because the beginning of this year was pathetic for them. But then you got your Lamar Jackson, who has worked on proving that he can complete those passes that everybody doubted that he can do, but he's also a dominant threat with his legs. He can run.
People don't talk about it. But Russell Wilson, think about that team. They're last in the division.
Yeah.
He wanted to leave. He wanted to leave too.
And Russell Wilson has been my favorite or one of my favorite quarterbacks for a long time because I like his game plan. I like what he can do. You know why he wants to leave?
They're not putting nothing around him that he needs, and they're not keeping it. Once again, you can't be a quarterback. Again, you're right with Brady with the money, yes, but Brady was a team player, and he still is a team player. Look, he went to Tampa sacrificed his back for it, right? He took 5 pay cuts this year.
Exactly, and there's not very many quarterbacks out there that have their coaches backing or influence on saying, "Hey, look, take less money now, it'll pay off later," right? Because all of these quarterbacks, even like the good quarterbacks out there, right? I mean, you hear the story or you read the stories that say like Patrick Mahomes got a phenomenal deal, a phenomenal contract, right? But where's his line at? So the money is so good, yeah, but if you're getting crushed and you got to run for your life every single time you touch that ball, was it really worth getting paid that much, right?
Is they had that line though. They had the line. They got hurt right before that Super Bowl. One got hurt and one caught COVID before the Super Bowl. Two big linemen. They're big key linemen. And I'll tell you this because I played the game and asked Malcolm, asked Dwayne. He was on the sideline. Put that white boy back in the game because I walked off the field. Let me tell you that, okay? I walked off the field and said, I got hit so many times. I said, there's no reason. I couldn't even hand the ball off to Malcolm. You know what I mean? So it's about, once again, Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl, he got embarrassed. He did. But you know what's messed up about the fact is they they released every one of those linemen this year. Every one of them before they released every one of them. And the sad part is they wasn't even the problem. They just got hurt and maybe they seen something we don't see, you know. But my opinion, they had the line. They've had the line for years. But they just want to rebuild. And this year trying to rebuild is like for instance, you know, Cleveland, you know, you got teams out here that's been rebuilding for a while. You got to realize you can't rebuild and they had a bad year, they got a bad time. Oh, let's get something new. Like what Cleveland did for years. Their organization, their owners did that too much.
That's why the money plays a big part. Because and this is surely off of what I think could have happened and why they got rid of people. Not only were they injured, but because they were trying to retain and make Patrick Mahomes happy, they dipped into their bag on what they can acquire. The reason why Tom Brady, and I said it in our previous segment, that the reason why he stayed is healthy, is because he didn't get hit, because he was able to sacrifice I'm not even gonna say a little bit. It's millions. He was sacrificing money to make sure that the people around him protected him. Right?
So if you watch Mac Jones in Alabama, and Mac Jones in New England. So Mac Jones in Alabama, he would run if he had to. Okay. Mac Jones in New England, he did the same thing. He's doing the same thing that Brady did. If he feels pressure, what does he do? He falls. He don't try to scramble. He don't try to push it and keep going because he don't. Belichick, I think, trains these quarterbacks to don't get hurt, man. You get hurt, the next person gonna take your spot. You know what I mean? Look at Bledsoe. That's how he took. I mean, that's how Brady got his opportunity.
Right.
I mean, honestly, and I think it's a scare tactic in a way. I feel like Belichick does to him. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, the next guy going if he comes in, like honestly, like we let go of Jarrett Stidham. I mean, we let go of a lot of different quarterbacks. There was one we sent to the 49ers, and I was mad. I mean, I was mad. And I'll tell you, you know why we let him go? Brady was scared if he got hurt, he was going to take his spot. And Brady is that type of player. He's getting a little old. He didn't want to because he didn't want to lose his shine. And that's why, we never paid Brady. Everybody claims, you'll hear your Patriot fans that will tell you Brady left us because of money. It ain't the money. It's not the money. Brady is never cared about money. He has a wife that's worth more than him. It's not about money. It's more about proving points and having a drive. Brady is Edelman and Gronk, they used to have to tell him, you're old, you suck on the sideline. You know what I mean? It's to keep the motivation going. And that's why I say it's a team game. You got to keep everybody going. And
the quarterback takes a hustle, right? You got to hustle. You got to grind. That's what you got to do. Now, where I think that Baker has lost that is because I think arguably, and you two may combat me on this, but I think that the coach and quarterback chemistry is more important than the quarterback wide receiver chemistry.
Oh, yes.
What I mean by that is because the quarterback has to be able to trust that his coach is going to put him in the right positions to make the right plays, right? Baker doesn't care about learning. He doesn't care about chemistries from player to coach, player to player. He doesn't care about any of that. He cares about Baker, right? And that is his problem because he wants us to give him this maximum contract when we already given him every single weapon we can around him to make him look great, and he's not utilizing what he has.
You know why?
He's conceited. He's
know how LeBron James, they put his face on the side of the stadium, and LeBron James is just LeBron James, so he's worth that. Okay, he's proved his point. I think Cleveland hyped up Baker Mayfield a little too fast. And I think he's young. They're young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're younger than all of us.
And whenever you hype these people up, like I said before, their head swells, man. It's big. He's over here thinking, man, I'm making y'all commercials. I'm making y'all ticket sales. I deserve something. You know what I mean? And that's probably how he feels. But at the end of the day, like you just said, Brady took pay cuts. Brady took, you know what I mean? It wasn't about the money.
He put himself aside for the game while still proving that he could do the job, right? Baker's not doing that. Not once did anybody hear Baker come out and say, me and OBJ is good, right? We had a conversation, we talked or whatever the case, because he was caring about Baker. He was not caring about his wide receiver core. He's not caring about his coach, which is why in retrospect, I feel like Stefanski is just like, all right, well, keep one out there. Because
but does the coach have
if you end your career, it's on you. We don't care.
Yeah, see, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't even know that in the offseason, Odell Beckham went to Texas to practice
with Baker and Landry.
Just so they can get on the same page.
And if I'm not mistaken, Hooper was there too.
Yeah. So if you take this time out of your personal life, where a lot of people know sometimes Odell don't even make it to voluntary OTA. He got his own personal trainer.
Right.
And he goes to work out with Baker so they can get on that same page. And then Baker what you do in the games, you look at me and throw away from me. I mean, that's a lot to chew.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think.
Do you think he has a chip on his shoulder because you picked up his 5th year and not give him a max contract?
Probably, but that you can't blame anybody but him for that. And the reason why I say that is because Chubb got his contract.
He did take Cleveland to the playoffs. But he did do these things. But
he took them to the playoff, and that was a fluke. Because throughout those games, throughout the whole last year, we would run up the score by 40 points and somehow manage to be biting our nails in the fourth quarter to see if we're going to win or not. Well, that's on Baker. That's on Baker. Yeah, that's on Baker because Baker should be making them plays. You're giving, I mean, if you throw 3 interceptions a game, but you're up by 40 points and they score off of all 3 of those, yeah, you could argue that it's the defense. The defense should have been doing their job. But why are you throwing interceptions when you're not throwing it to the people that you should be throwing it to? Or why are you pump faking the way you should be, that you're going to be throwing, letting the entire defense know where you're throwing it? And
what if the coach is playing off? Because you know how Belichick is with Mac Jones, for instance, he just threw 3 times. And, you know what I mean? He don't have control. Do you think Baker has control? Does he get the play calls? Is this his offense?
Put it like this. Last year, Stefanski played into Baker's strength, which is the play action. Just about the entire season, he played into Baker's strength. Yet Baker still looked mediocre. Yes, we were winning games, but if you ask me, and we're up by 40 points on Dallas, and somehow the score is within 6, that's a problem for me. Because if he's going to keep you in, why are you not scoring? If you were just going to sit there and do nothing, he could have put in the backup and let them get some reps with the team. But they didn't do that.
Baker don't have that it factor.
He's not a clutch player.
He's not, like, there ain't no, don't mislead, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's great. Once again, I think he's a good quarterback. Yeah. I just don't think he is what everybody thought he was. That's the key, is Baker proved himself for a year, like Mac Jones is doing, okay? In a way. I'm not saying Mac Jones is going to do the same thing, but what I'm saying is he proved himself. He got his fame, got his hype. Everybody started selling tickets. Next thing you know, the next season, he does good. He takes the team to the playoffs. You know what I mean? I guess, as a fan, you say he didn't do that great, but as an organization and like everything else, they're looking at him as, once again, it's a quarterback that makes things happen, okay?
But he wasn't really making things happen because he had Chubb. He had Hunt, which is why Chubb got his contract, right? He was consistently getting to that end zone. Baker really wasn't making anything happen last year, but the fact that we went to the playoffs and the fact that Baker was the quarterback, he got the praise for taking us to the playoffs. When in fact, it was your Landry's, right? Because there was almost every single game, Landry threw the ball to somebody. And almost always it ended up in the end zone, but that was the chemistry between Landry and OBJ that was getting, that one touchdown where he threw it. When OBJ went out, it was because Baker threw an interception and OBJ went to try to tackle the person that intercepted the ball so it wasn't a pick 6, which would have only fell on Baker, but OBJ was playing as a team. Baker was falling short of that bar, and OBJ tried to pick up the slack. Fast forward, he got a surgery, out for the rest of the season. Now he got to come back this season. So was Baker really that great last year, or did it appear to be so because the team truly believed in the system? Because this year they don't, which shows that I'd rather Baker not do anything other than be a clutch player, right? Because with the way our season has been going, and my dad has said it before, but with the way our season been going, we really only got to get like 17 points to win a game, right? And Baker can't even do that for us. He can't even get us. I mean, just be clutch. We're not a come from behind team. So if we're down by 1 touchdown in the first quarter, you can almost bet we're going to lose that game because Baker he cannot have that clutch factor to make something shake in the second, third, and fourth quarter. And Baltimore gave him 2 minutes? Was it 2 minutes at the end of the last game? And we didn't even get a first down. he does not have a clutch factor. He can't use his
I got
legs.
somebody on Facebook that I troll because they're a strong Baker fan. Every single time the Browns lose or they win and vice versa, you always hear the good, you always hear the bad. But this person never could see the bad, man. They always want to point the finger at everybody else except for Baker. And I troll this person like crazy because I think it's funny because, like, once again, I played the game. I played the position. I loved it. If it wasn't for certain reasons, I would have tried to went and play college ball. But at the end of the day, it's more about the principle of it's a team game. Last year, you guys played as a team and you made it happen. And I think that team broke apart once they realized who Baker was this year.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where it comes into play is you was together, you made the playoffs, and now all these players come back. You guys had some players out because of COVID too. Everybody comes back, you put the formula back together, and it wasn't clicking. I'm guaranteeing something wasn't going on in practice. It wasn't even probably just the season. It's probably practice as well. It's more than just what you see on TV. It's always is.
Bruh,
And
I
that's where
don't watch games. I don't watch games that after the game, the opposing quarterback and no other player even walked up to Baker to shake his hand or do anything. I don't know if he rubbed people the wrong
from
way.
Texas, and they think everything's bigger in Texas. They think that I'm just trying to be honest. I mean, if you meet somebody, it's the truth. It's like, oh, we're bigger. Everything's bigger and better in Texas, And don't get me wrong, Baker is, like I said, he proved his point. But at the end of the day, I think once again he's a young quarterback. He did come out here and do big things at the beginning of the season that he took over. And I think that was a fluke too. But anyways, he took over the season, and he did great. Beat Peyton Manning's records and all these different records. And the next thing you know, turn around, take team to the playoffs. But then the team, the organization, I think ruined Baker by hyping Baker up too much. And now he thinks, oh, I'm untouchable. I'm the man. I control this team. I'm the face of the stadium. I'm the face of this. So now y'all got me. You got to listen to me, and now the coach ain't got coach ain't even got no respect. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, so the key
he made a comment. He made a comment after one of the games. I think it was 2 games ago. And I'm one of those people, I listen to what everybody say because it's not so much how you say it, it's what you say, right?
Yeah.
So in the press conference, he was like, looked at the camera, was like, they brought me here to change the culture. I said, huh? Which proved my point to he's not a team first player, he's a me first player. And like you said, he got the big head because to make a comment like that when all the cameras is on, they brought me here to change the culture. No, the culture was changed before you got here because Landry chin checked these motherfuckers on Hard Knocks and told them, we ain't gonna keep taking no days off. We don't deserve to do it. We ain't no winning team. That changed the culture. He came in, he was supposed to fit in and take, man, look,
what I don't like about the NFL is they make the number 1 quarterback or most of the time the number 1 pick be the Heisman winner, right? In order to win the Heisman in college football, you kind of have to be the big shot. You kind of have to be, the best player, to prove the highest numbers, this and that, right? And I feel like a Heisman winner in proof, Mac Jones, he lost. Do you know who he lost to? His wide receiver. He put the numbers up to. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like I said, it goes hand in hand, man. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Heisman. I think the NFL needs to stop trying to draft just a Heisman person first. Because you guys that year, I mean, there was a lot of quarterbacks out in that game in that draft, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Do I think Lamar would have fit what you guys know? Patrick Mahomes, yes.
Patrick, Josh Allen, he was spoken. They was looking at him too, but they said he was too inconsistent They like his measurables because he's taller, a bigger quarterback, and can probably wing it around. But Dorsey made the pick to go with Baker because they said he was a leader. He sold that image so tough that he was a leader that now they see he's not the leader he say he is. It is having a rippling effect with the team. And I'm going to tell you, and you'll appreciate this one because the Patriots went on their roll after what? They played Tampa Bay, and they came back in that fourth quarter and almost won that game. They started believing in that quarterback. Yeah, they started believing in that quarterback that he could do some things. And you've seen since then, they've been on a 7-game win streak.
I went to the Carolina game, and I was, I had some really good tickets. I was about 7 rows up, 50-yard line on the Patriots sideline. And what I'll tell you is watching that, being that close, playing a position, this guy can throw the ball. I'm gonna tell you right now, accuracy. He has accuracy. I went and watched Brady in Cincinnati his last year, and I'll tell you, Brady's accuracy at that time, at least I should say, because that's something Brady's starting to lose. You know what I mean? He was starting to, as a quarterback, he got a slant route, and we all know the Patriots don't go deep. New England never really does it much. They do the slants, right? And Brady was trying to hit him in the chest. You never hit a chest unless the receiver has the defender in front of them. If they don't, you lead the receiver, right? There were so many passes that I just seen of Brady, and I was there to, I seen Brady. That's what I wanted to have as a Patriot fan. I was a diehard Brady fan. I mean, I still respect the guy. Am I hurt about it? I am. But at the end of the day, I think he went and did what he wanted to do, and it wasn't the money. It was all about proving a point because everybody was claiming Belichick made him, which I think once again he still did. Don't get me wrong. I think Belichick did, and I think Brady would admit that when it's all said and done. But at the end of the day, it's more about, I don't know. I mean, you got players out here, Baker, you got all these players that want the hype, man, instead of just wanting to win Super Bowls, man, wanting to keep the team together. Like, that's what I like about New England. Yeah, we got an old coach, we got old styles, we got old ways. But guess what, man? These ways, it's working. You know what I mean? It's something working. Like you said, Mac Jones, man, I mean, the chemistry, man. I mean, the guy, as soon as he does something wrong, he came over to the sideline, or say we just missed we got a fourth down, he has to come over to the sideline. He actually listens to Brian Hoyer like crazy. Brian Hoyer is actually mentoring Mac Jones a little bit himself. Brian Hoyer has talent in the NFL, but he's not an action type of quarterback, I should say. He can't make it happen on the field, but he has the skill because he was behind Brady for a little while too. So, I mean, every single time you don't see Josh McDaniel, you don't see these coaches come over to him. You see, this other backup quarterback come up to Mac Jones and say, "Hey, pick your head up." Mac Jones, when he made something wrong, he's an overachiever, and that's what scares me about Mac Jones. Okay, we make the playoffs. Say we do make the playoffs, and the game is going. That's why Belichick and this offense is playing scared. I'm not going to lie to you. We are playing a little bit tight. We're not letting him open it up. We're not letting him have control, and it's because of Mac Jones is he's still learning, man. It's his first year, and it's once again that's where I play out as we're not going to let the hype happen, though, man. Like everybody else, don't get me wrong. As fans, we're hyping it up, but you're never going to hear Belichick come to the press podium and all that and say, "Man, this guy's amazing, man. We're going to keep." He's not going to do it. He's not going to overhype him. The team's not going to overhype him. They're going to let him know, like you said, the team and the players see that Mac Jones can be that guy. He has the ability to be that guy. And I think that's how the Browns was with Baker for year 1 and 2, and then next thing you know, like you said, it fell off, man. And as Baker Mayfield, if he wants to have a career in the NFL, he's going to be traded. I don't know who he's going to go to. I don't know who you guys will pick up for it or you get a pick for it. But he's going to be traded. I mean, I think it would be cool, but man, they may have Kaepernick that guy, man. I hope they didn't because he's a great quarterback. I wanted him at New England whenever we didn't have Brady anymore. You want me to be honest with you?
I don't think they're gonna do it because he went silent. You know what I mean? When all this stuff went down, because he had a chance to go to Miami. The owner of the Miami Dolphins said, if you go ahead and settle this out of court, we'll trade for you. And Watson was like, I'm not settling. He said, because I ain't do nothing. You know, I'm gonna fight this. I'm gonna clear my name. That's why he didn't go to the Dolphins. And then when he went back to Houston, he showed up to practice every day as if he was still on the team. So he's not making no noise for them to blackball him. They just got to figure out how they're going to get him out of Houston. And I'm telling you, this is a perfect story. Send Baker's ass to Houston. Go ahead and bring us Watt. But it's going to be hard because of the Odell situation to get a superstar to come in there because of the way the organization has been perceived. And the reason why I said
players know, but the people know. You know what I mean? The players, the organization. If as long as you're a player that don't go home and watch ESPN, then you know what's going on in every team. You know what I mean? You know it's media. You know what's true, what's false. Deshaun Watson at this point, he's looking for an opportunity, and you guys have the talent. You guys have the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? You got players that can make it. Your defense is solid. I mean, like you said, 17 points, you can win a game. So at the end of the day, I mean, honestly, I didn't expect to beat you guys the way I didn't expect it. I didn't. I mean, honestly, there's games where this year, for instance, my team is shocked me. But you know what a lot of people don't realize is we're playing like we did in 2001 with Brady. Our defense is clicking, we're getting turnovers, and our offense is capitalizing. And that's all that matters is your defense is they're doing what they're doing, but you guys are, you know what I mean? You're not capitalizing. So it's all about trying to make things happen, man.
right.
And I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah, not with this Buster.
All right, y'all. So as y'all can hear, we talk constantly about sports, everything. Now, what are going to be y'all's closing remarks? Who do y'all see? I'm gonna end it this way. Who do y'all see going into the playoffs? Most importantly, who do y'all see in the Super Bowl, and who do y'all see taking it? And then at the end of y'all's predictions, who is y'all's favorite quarterback to date right now in the National Football League?
Ooh. Well, let me throw this out because we're gonna chew on this one until the next show. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna make the playoffs. No, I'm telling you who's gonna be in the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay and New England.
I want to say yes to that.
Dog, watch. Listen, it's so close. The NFL can run with this story for a whole month. Belichick against Brady, the old guard, the new guard. Dog, what we've been talking about for the last 10 years in all these Super Bowls. Who was it? Was it Tom Brady or was it Belichick? Now Belichick has the pieces to get there. Right now, they're number one in the AFC. That means if they stay on this path, all the games have to go through New England in order to go to the Super Bowl, the same way it was when he had Tom Brady. Now, I'm not going to say for them to get there that they're going to win it, but do you understand the storyline the NFL can create if they get those two teams in there? And it's not a far-fetched because Tampa Bay is leading their division. New England is number one in the AFC. They hold the number one seed. So every game, the AFC championship has to go through them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be really a great story. As a Patriots fan, I would love it. You know what I mean? It'll be the biggest smile on my face. I told everybody if it happens, if Mac Jones takes us to the Super Bowl first year, we play Brady, I'll be taking my way to Vegas. I'll be going to seeing this game. just
Go ahead and get your
because
tickets. Go ahead and get your tickets.
it's
I talked to Cleo. Cleo done already told me.
it's gonna be like I said. I want to say that, but I think there's a team in the AFC. Like everybody's hyping up when we play Buffalo, right? Buffalo is a good team, but people sleeping on them because they're just not coming up. But you got the Colts, man. The Colts is doing their thing right now. We played them in two. We played them not next week, the week after.
Bruh, y'all have Belichick. Belichick is this is so close. He go to sleep tasting. Going, I'm just, bruh. Because if you understand, Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl last year made Belichick feel so bad because now it's like what they said. Well, now it looked like Tom Brady was the reason we won. Tom Brady. So he's sitting back. He just like, he got his whole coaching staff back together. Now he got all the pieces he needs.
Brady a different breed in the playoffs, man. He's a different breed in that playoffs, man.
They don't need him to win. They just need him to get there. For real.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, if they continue on this path, start watching some of the calls that the referees make in these games, and you'll start to see the trajectory where they can possibly meet because the way they got pass interference calls, roughing the passers, any one of these calls holding can change a game and keep either a team in or get a team out of the game just by some of the calls they are making. So if this was their narrative and they let it play out, I guarantee you the closer it get, you're going to start to see phantom calls called like, oh, that was a pass interference? You know what I mean? Watch. And y'all want my long shot? My long shot is going to be Detroit's going to make it and the Jets.
Maybe Jacksonville.
I think when it comes to quarterback, and this is, I'm a big Brady fan, but out of seeing what I see as a quarterback and playing the game, Mac Jones he's impressing me, man. I mean, he's really a very talented quarterback. He's a person that wants to learn, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll take them footsteps as Brady. And I would like it to happen, but I'm one of those type of people. I don't like to get my hopes up because I like to always live it on the edge, man. You get the hopes up, it hurts. You know what I mean? We went undefeated, lost the Super Bowl. Boy, that hurt me so bad. Like that. I mean,
y'all could be the Steelers. Y'all could go 11-0 and then lose 5 out of your last 6 games. With your quarterback averaging more interceptions than completed passes.
But see, that's the thing, though. You're talking. I mean, we did the complete opposite, though. We let Mac Jones start the season, and he didn't do. He was doing good, but if you look at the games, there's one team that blew us out of those four losses, okay, and that was the Saints, and that was when they had a healthy quarterback. They had a healthy team. The defense is always good in the Saints, and they beat us pretty good. Every other game we lost by a touchdown or less. And and that I think Belichick, that's why, like you said, I think he let him start. I think he let Mac Jones start because I think he wanted to start the season out and let him get that feel. He knew we was going to take a couple losses, but he knows a couple losses will still get you in the playoffs. And that's the way Belichick played it. And that's why he let Cam go. I didn't think it would happen. It did happen. But my favorite quarterback this year, yes, would be Mac Jones. That's where I'm sitting right now as a Patriots fan. You still got to watch out for,
good old
what's
Patty?
his face? Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes
Patty.
is still a great quarterback, man.
All right, Dad. Your favorite QB before we end this off? He ain't Baker. I know that.
No, it ain't.
And it's going to be hard for you to talk about it because you're a Browns fan through and through. But
I am, but I call it like I see it. You know what I mean? When we drafted him, something inside me was like, oh, I don't know about that pick. You know what I mean? But I roll with it because he's a Brown. I ain't gonna say that's my favorite quarterback because he's playing like garbage right now. you know, I want to rename him Rumpkin. You know what I
mean? my cousin's a diehard Browns fan, and you know who he
Ryan?
really wanted? Ryan wanted. He wanted Josh Allen.
Yeah,
he wanted Josh Allen.
Because when I watched this highlight reel of Josh Allen, he made those it throws. You know what I mean? Like it was almost like Patrick Mahomes. He could throw from any platform. I was like, man, we're gonna get him. They said Baker. I said, ain't this a bitch? But my favorite quarterback right now would probably be, Taysom Hill.
Nah.
This running ass quarterback. I feel bad for that team, man, because Breeze just he was gone, man. They didn't even give him time to rebuild or recoup, get somebody behind him.
No, you know what I heard though? I heard because I listened to a lot of Land on the Man, and I'm hearing that New Orleans is interested in Baker.
I always heard that. I have heard that.
Yeah. So, I don't know what, what they're trying to work out. Man, listen.
They're going to get Thomas.
If we get Thomas and bring in Watson, because we're going to lose Odell. Odell's about to leave. If Baker stays,
Thomas
Odell's
will request a trade, though. Thomas is good, and he ain't
getting
no
about Landry?
Who?
Landry? You said Landry leaving if we lose Baker?
Yeah, Landry gone after this year. If Baker stay, Landry gone. Because if you notice, ever since that stuff happened,
he gonna go to Green Bay.
He can't even hit Odell now. I mean, he can't even hit Landry now. He throwing the ball behind Landry to the ground. You know what I mean? So, and Landry came out and said, "Man, I need more targets. How can I play or be part of the team and I'm not even getting targeted?"
Right.
I used to be a 100 reception wide receiver. I looked on the leadership, man. He ain't nowhere on there. Second,
he was Pro Bowl every year.
Yeah. Now he ain't going to the Pro Bowl now.
Right.
And it's all because of one player.
All right, guys, we're gonna leave y'all on that. We will be back. I'm telling y'all, we will be back. Before we get up out of here, I got your boy B, aka B Does This. I got my pops, aka Bingo. They have been more than intrigued to talk with your boy in sports. This was a spur of the moment thing. I kind of just threw it together probably about 45 seconds before we dropped content for y'all. So, like I said, this is your boy Evolve from Wayne. Wayne from Evolve from Wayne. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I also am doing a giveaway on my Apple TV, you guys. So next Monday at 10 a.m., that has not changed, at 10 a.m., whoever comments Wayne Gang down below will be entered into the drawing to win the 4K Apple TV. This is your boy Evolve from Wayne. Bingo, B, we are out. Peace.
Peace.